Commercial and Social Media from PepsiCo. Christopher Barger, right? It's Barger. Barger? Barger, all right. It's like tomato. Director of Global Social Media at General Motors. And Dennis Crowley, he's the co-founder of FourSquare. So thanks so much for being here today. Let's kick things off. You each come from like a different side of brands. Where have you seen in terms of the atmosphere right now and how brands are integrated into, like, how do you decide what you want to connect your brand with right now?
Well, we love South by Southwest. So that's
of course.
You're like Chris.
Do you have a filter? Is there a filter right now? Like, what are you seeing in terms of the trends and things that you want to be working on your brands? Yeah, you could start there.
Is there a filter? I'm sorry.
Is there a filter where you, in terms of how you decide what you want to work on right now, and like what are you seeing right now the trend is?
Well, on a negative side, one of the trends is just everybody trying to hop on social and trying to all of a sudden, we have a social conference, we have a social this, we have a network, everybody should join on to this. You try to look for things where there's actual good interaction with the community, where there's a community being built, where you can tell that they're not just jumping on a bandwagon, but they're really trying to build something. There's a sense of connection with the audience that allows you as the brand to go in and just say, okay, we would like to be part of this community. It's not just slapping a logo on something. It's not just coming in and trying to impose ourselves on this community, but it gives us something to be part of.
Bonin?
I think from our point of view, it's really how do we help support and enable the passions of our consumers? How do we co-create things with them? That's a new eco-fear model. How do we co-create things with them? So I think you were a part of the democracy program.
I was. Democracy.
so democracy, was awesome. 600,000 people co-creating a beverage inside of Facebook and existing social channels. So that's huge. I think the Pepsi Refresh project is an example of that. What's so amazing about that project is we said, okay, what's your passion and how do we enable it? So in 2009 we said, talk to us about what you want to refresh in the world. And in 2010 we actually said, how do we support refreshing you refreshing your world? So that's kind of been where we found a lot of success, is when we align with consumers' passions.
And now with FourSquare, I mean, a lot of people have used it, personally. How are you now going to the next level in terms of working with brands?
Yes, we've got this really kind of fantastic connection going on between people and places. People check into places to tell us, the places that they're most passionate about, places where they like to spend time. And we're starting to see brands adopt that by, brands also have a connection with the real world. We see them leaving tips behind in certain spots for their users to recover. So we've been doing this with Bravo. You're seeing a lot of experiments go on at the convention center here, where there's little nuggets of awesome related content by brands and other users to discover.
Well, I was going to say, we have a partnership with you guys. We love FourSquare. But I think FourSquare I think geolocation is revolutionary, especially from a point of view of where you have retail stores, where somebody's going to check in, tell you where they are, and also be connected to their network of friends. We'll take that all day long. And then I can see their behavior that drove them potentially into store. That's a huge opportunity for us.
Things just us started getting really interesting when local merchants started getting involved. So your local coffee shop, your local pizza place, like all these people seeing, noticing these check-ins coming in, and then deciding to reward a lot of those, the people that are checking in with free items. And then we're seeing brands start to also, kind of understand how that relationship is working, and then using FourSquare as a platform, really in ways that we never anticipated.
And if we can turn that action into something where we check in and we can use that as a coupon, I just think there's so much.
Bonin's doing a pitch here. He's like, okay, let's talk, He's like, since we couldn't get that meeting earlier. No, I think this is a discussion, so I think that's really interesting because it has evolved from someone just using it amongst friends and brands coming on board. Brings FourSquare definitely to another level. Did you ever anticipate that?
No, I mean we've been building things that are pretty user focused. So we've been building tools for our friends that help them navigate the city a little bit easier and help them connect with their friends when they're out. And a lot of the innovation that we saw first come from the local merchants that started using the platform just to do their own things. Hey, we're going to hang up flyers promoting that if you're the mayor, you get something for free. Instead of we take a look at what they're doing and build it back into the platform. We saw the same thing happening with brands before we started reaching out to them saying, I bet there's a specific set of tools and kind of a platform that we can build for you guys to explore some of this. And that's why you're seeing us do a lot of different experimentations with, everything from TV brands to, to print media to consumer packaged goods. It's just a lot of opportunity to explore with.
I think that's a key point of experimentation, just in general overall. I think the brands that are going to lead are going to be the ones that are at South by Southwest like us. But I think are going to be the ones that, we used to sit back and say, well, the platform has to be big enough before we can participate in it. The ones that are going to win are the ones that say, how do we partner and put FourSquare on every single Mountain Dew pack and make it a big enough platform for us to win on it.
And you have to be willing to fail.
Well, that kind of brings up an interesting question. Brands have had such a way of doing things for years, and obviously this whole world has made you guys change things up really quickly, and you either go with it or you don't, and then you fall and you die off in the trenches. How are you guys? Touche. No, but how are you guys dealing with that in terms of making maybe the old school people accept where this is all going? Do you see obstacles right now? How are you dealing with that?
Yeah, you still see obstacles. On a rhetorical level, you just try to point out that, look, marketing 101 is go where the consumer is. You can't expect to still be effective going to places where customers, especially the tech-savvy crowd, the real buzz agents, go. You're not going to get to them in a newspaper. You're not going to get to them really in a magazine. You're going to go where they want to go. So you point out to some of the haters, there's a significant enough audience here. You also just kill them with results. There were skeptics within my own organization about coming here. Okay, I've got lots of numbers. I've got lots of results that I can go back and see it worked. Shut up.
At Pepsi, there is no obstacles. But I mean, part of the reason why we're down here, and we have almost 60 people down here, part of the social experiment. But part of the reason why we're down here, we truly believe this is like we've been calling it the Davos of digital internally. I will say, actually, let me step back. I'll say what's been so amazing about the Pepsi Refresh project is how much senior management is behind it, and how much it's not just a little piece off to the side, a program that's being run in collaboration. It is everything we're doing, and what that has done is it's created a situation where all senior management is laser focused on the success of this, and it's going along the process and learning with us, and I think it's been pretty awesome.
There are a couple levels, though, and I'm curious how you answer this. Senior management buys in, I found anyway, relatively quickly. They get what you're trying to do, they understand the power of it. It's not at the senior level where you're running into the trouble, it's at that middle level. Have you experienced that? How have you gotten past it?
The good thing, there's a ton of our brand folks here from that. But I guess my point is that it's not been a buy-in in terms of, okay, we buy and go do it. It's been a buy-in in everybody across the organization. We'll be on calls with like 40 people, but what's so amazing is that every single person is focused on making this happen. So everybody is all.
I think it's the question of action. Like, you can have presence, but does that make you act and want to buy a product? It's that transition that I'm seeing. Maybe some of the old school community being like, we want to see that, and they maybe don't recognize the importance of brand value of the presence.
The challenge for us is, obviously with everything that we've been through, is that there's a lot of pressure to sell. We've got to start moving and turn a profit again. The challenge for us, or what I keep trying to remind our guys is, in our industry, maybe 20% in any given year, even in a good economy, 20% of the public is in the market to buy a car in the next 12 months. And traditionally, every penny of marketing and advertising dollar we've ever spent has gone to those 20% to try and get them into a dealership and move a car. We've ignored 80% of the buying public. We've ignored people. That's what these tools and these platforms allow us to do. Begin to build those relationships, almost like a dealer would sponsor a Little League team. I guarantee that if the dealer's not saying, every one of these kids' parents is going to come to my dealership right now and buy a car, but they know, okay, the kid's parents a year and a half or 2 or 3 years now down the line, they're going to remember my name, they're going to remember my dealership and what I did for their kid, and they're now going to come in. This allows us to do this on a much grander scale and a much broader community.